Welcome to the Manchester Football Podcast, back again this week with James Jepson. James, how are we, mate? Okay?
I'm good, Jordan, you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Great to have you on finally.
Thank you.
How you been doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. I've a little break from football, but yeah, I'm really good, refreshed. So all good.
Good. What we're going to do, we're going to run through your career, and then we'll talk about your last club, which was Basford. Bit about your time there. I believe it all started for you as a kid at Notts County. Is that right?
Yeah, I did my sort of schoolboys at Notts County. So from 7 or 8, it's my dad's favourite team.
Nice.
From Nottingham as well. So yeah, did all the way up until sort of 15, and family friend Devon White was playing for the first team, and yeah, we watched him at Wembley, so it was all good. And yeah, later on in the career at Kettering and stuff, some of the guys I used to watch obviously used to manage me, so it was good. Yeah, so um,
Fair play. Like you say, your dad's first team, man. Is that not your team?
no, I'm a Man United fan,
Oh, yeah.
but from Nottingham. So if you're from somewhere and you don't support the local team, you're a bit of a mug. So yeah, love to see Notts County and Forest do well. I think they were just about to survive this year, and Notts County obviously had a bit of bad luck losing the manager who was a really good manager. So I think that's killed them this year.
Yeah. You reckon they'll be bouncing back in time? Obviously, a massive club, aren't
Forest
they? Notts
or
County
not?
even.
Yeah. I mean, they've got really good owners. They've got a plan to be apparently in the championship. But there's a lot of clubs, Jordan, isn't there? Like trying to
Trying to
sort of
do
get
the
to
same
that
thing.
sort
Yeah.
of level. But yeah, they're well supported. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know the stats. I don't really pay too much attention, but I'm sure they're up there with the biggest supporters in that league. It's a really
Yeah.
nice stadium. It's quite old now, but but it still, gets filled every week, or to as much as they can. With obviously neighbours being Forest, who do fill their ground every week. So yeah, it's a really good club.
Oh, good. So, what was that like? That feeling like, obviously playing locally and then getting that chance to play for the team your dad loves. I bet that was a
Yeah,
massive thing, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't professionally, of course. It was like through the school years, and yeah, it was. Some of the guys who I still keep in contact with now. Yeah, some good memories. Went to Germany with Notts County as a kid, and played teams over there, and played against all the Midlands teams. I'm not sure how it works now in the academies, but Leicester, Forest, Derby. So having battles against them every Sunday was really good. Yeah, and probably from our age group, without missing people out, I think the main one from Notts County was Jermaine Pennant, was a
Oh,
year
nice.
below us. So
Yeah, nice.
he played up, and when he got to sort of 15, he sort of accelerated into the scholars, and obviously he played in the first team with 16, but he's probably the standout from that sort of era. Yeah.
What was it like playing beside him? Could you see straight away that this lad's gonna make it, or?
Yeah, I mean he played a year up. I'm not sure if they still do it now, but Nottingham boys, like sort of your schoolboys in terms of your schools. Were he played with us a few times. He was just a cut above. It was frightening, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then I saw him. I was on holiday in Greece, and I saw him live on Sky get his hat trick against Southampton. So it didn't
Nice.
surprise me. Put it that way, mate. Yeah,
No,
yeah, it
no,
was
fair
very good.
play. So you said you were there at Notts County until about the age of 15. What happened after that? Was there a first to stay in the game?
I went to Lincoln City for a year and a bit. I was always quite small, to be honest. So football's changed a lot, and I think there's a lot of excuses people give. Why I didn't make it, but at that time I wasn't good enough. So yeah, I tried to sort of carve a career out in what I do now. which is sales. So I sort of went into that and played non-league and just went from there. Really, I think we don't know each other that well, obviously, but I think everyone wants to be a footballer, don't they? But
Yeah, of course.
I think in terms of football, when you realise what you're good at and what you're not good at, and I think you can progress. And when you're sort of chasing that dream, it's not there. And yeah, so it didn't happen for me. But yeah, that's life, mate, eh?
Yeah. How did you deal with it? Did you know that, even though it weren't going to happen as a profession, you always were going to play football no matter what the level?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I can remember vaguely early. My dad was a good player locally, and me and my brother used to go and watch him Saturday and Sunday, and we got home Sunday dinner, watch the football, and nothing's changed really. I love
No.
football, and talk about it all day. Hence why I'm talking to you. But I'd play for free.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's always been a part of me. So yeah.
No, fair play. So Lincoln City then, what took you up there? I mean, I suppose it's not that far from Nottingham, is it? Miles away from here.
No, it's about 50 minutes.
Right.
I think they watched a representative game for Nottingham boys and went up there and played a couple of times in the youth team and did okay. But yeah, it was all of it. I try and look on it as a positive light. It's sort of an experience, and yeah, I don't think there was too many from our age group who went on to make it big, mate. To be honest, but
No.
yeah, it stands you in good stead. I mean, some of the antics you see at that age is a real eye opener, But
Yeah.
yeah, it was good, and some of the lads who were in the youth team used to play against them in non-league. So obviously, there's only the elite and make it. So yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it.
Oh, good man. So the only reason I say that, I worked in Lincoln not long ago, a few weeks, and it took me about 3 hours to get there.
Oh
When
right,
they said
okay.
Lincoln, I was thinking it's miles away.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's a nice place actually. I've not been a few years now. I think
No.
the last time I went was when we played Lincoln United, but yeah, it's a nice city. They've got a bar on the river that was quite lively back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Nightclub on the river on a boat, which was
Very nice.
probably not very safe nowadays. But yeah, it was a good laugh, mate.
No, good. So where did you go when you left Lincoln then?
So I played for a team called Kettering Town from Nottingham. I think it's the equivalent of Step 5 now, and
Yeah.
we had a really good team. Couple of lads sort of got scouted for Notts County, and sort of stayed there for about 3 or 4 years. Really, just comfortable. Sort of bought my first house and had a steady job and picking up a bit of money, I suppose. And yeah, it was didn't really see. I think it's different now. I mean, back then, to sort of jump to the uni bond, which was at the time, it was I didn't probably see myself playing at that level because it was quite physical. I was probably one sort of built for that level. So yeah, it was yeah, like I say, I was comfortable, and probably until I went to Australia for a little bit, came back, and I sort of knew I was probably good enough. So yeah, it was good times. We had good runs in the FA Cup, knocked Alfreton out. Lad called Steve Scotham played up front for us, got signed for Notts County, played in the first team there.
Yeah, nice.
Um, Went on to Burton Albion. So yeah, it was good. But to be honest with you, like life and football, it goes quite quick, and was just enjoying my football, enjoying life, and yeah, that's where it took me until probably Australia, really.
Yeah. So what was the thinking going out Oz? Was that football related or was it work?
Yeah, I went out to play and sort of got a chance. Someone saw me play and said, "Do you fancy coming?" I was like, didn't know if it was a stitch up or not, but
Yeah, yeah.
went over and absolutely loved it. I was there for a year and a bit, and standard was really good. Can't tackle over there,
No.
so it's a bit of a different game. Not that I got stuck in too much until I was a bit older, but yeah, it was good. life was good. It's obviously hot, mate. So
Yeah.
everyone feels better about themselves. But yeah, the football was great. Met some really good people out there that I'm really close to now. So yeah, it was really good.
Good. Whereabouts in Oz were you?
I lived in Perth,
Right.
so just outside the city in a place called Subiaco. Yeah, it was quite a up and coming place. I think I can remember a pint was about $9 then, back in 2009. So it's pretty expensive to live. But yeah, it was really good.
Oh, good. What was the thinking there? Was there an option to stay out there, or why
Yeah,
did you come back to this sort
yes.
of weather?
So yeah, I ask myself every day, mate, to be honest. But we was having our first child, me and my ex-wife, and decided to come back. And with with your first child, like it was my mum and dad's first grandchild, and my
Yeah,
ex-partner's first grandchild, and probably the right thing to do. But I had a sponsorship there because it was again it was semi-professional. I had a job over there. I was sponsored for. I had to stay there sort of 4 years for citizenship, and yeah, I didn't see myself leaving there. My mum and dad were very supportive in terms of they obviously wanted us to come back, but they've always been really supportive of me, and they wanted me to do what was best for us. And yeah, it wasn't my decision, mate, but
no.
we came back, and that's how it went.
Any regrets about coming back?
To be honest with you, I did till I was at an age where I probably knew that I wasn't going back there really to live. Yeah, I mean, mate, without this is a positive podcast, but without being negative, the weather's not great here all the time, and it's sunny every day. They say it's cold when it's 20, 22.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gone. But yeah, I used to wouldn't say get down about it, but I used to think about it a lot and think, what could have been, but you can't live your life like that. It's probably spent too
of
long
course.
thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah. So obviously, you come back. Was it straight in your mind? Got to play football again? Looking for a club straight away?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like I said before, I love football. And you know, before I was coming back, I was speaking to people about went to train with my old club Gedlin, and yeah, I sort of had a taste of probably moving to Australia. It was off the back of a cruciate injury, which kept me out for about 2.5 years.
Right.
Um, so going back out there and proving myself that I could actually play at a better level than where I came from before the injury, sort of gave me the sort of impetus to, you know, play at a better level, take it a bit more seriously, and yeah, I played for signed for Hucknall in the Northern Prem with Tommy Brookbanks, who's went on to manage Colville, and he's back at Carlton Town now, still managing. To just missed out on the playoffs. So yeah, it was sort of straight in, and I think at that point, the levels I was playing before, with respect, it's not real football in terms of non-league. I say to guys now, probably a bit different now with step five teams with budgets they've got. They're acting and they want to be a step four club. But I think when you get to step four, it starts to become quite serious. A few
Yeah.
more supporters. There's bigger clubs. There's clubs that have dropped down for financial reasons. Better pitches. You play with better players. Egos, expectations. A lot of non-contracts. It's obviously changed now. So if you don't perform,
You're right.
you can be let go. So yeah, went there and yeah, sort of kicked on from there really.
Yeah. And was it straight back into it? Like after your injury and stuff, were you back to your full fitness straight away, pretty much?
No, to be honest, I mean, when I was out injured here, I was out for like say 2.5 years, and obviously, you put a bit of weight on, and you're way off match fitness, of course, because you're not fit. and it took me a while to. I think when I went to Australia, I was probably about 60% fit. Not really played that many games, and went over there, and yeah, it took me a while. I kept putting it down to jet lag,
Yeah.
but it was fitness, mate. And but yeah, when I came back, I was sort of knew what was expected really. So yeah, it took a while, mate. And like I say, it's mentally as well. It's not something I've really suffered with, to be honest. But being injured, it is tough when you see and all your mates are out there, but there's other things to do than football,
Yeah.
that we don't think there is, but there is.
You found out during them times. But were you going watching many games while you were out? Like,
Not really, mate. To be honest,
no.
like I say, it was sort of pre Australia, so I was concentrating on getting fit because the reason I was out for 2.5 years is because I did my ACL, went up for a header, and as I landed, my foot got stuck in the turf. It twisted my knee, like what it felt like. I mean, when I got up, I asked the teammate to unravel my leg. It felt like
Oh, yeah.
that's the feeling I can, and sort of anyone who's done the ACL knows it's the worst feeling ever. And but yeah, so I got sort of 6 months in rehab, and running in straight lines on grass, and just it cracked again.
Oh,
Completely went,
jeez.
and just instantly I'd done it again. So yeah, 2.5 years I was out. What obviously the club in Australia still wanted me to come over, and like
Yeah,
I say, I
nice.
was 60% fit, but I'm sort of 3 years behind. So it's probably why I played till I was quite old, really, sort of catching up, really. So, but
Nah, fair play. So obviously moving on then. When was it? Who was it after? Sorry, who was your next club after that?
so I played against
Yeah.
Gresley Rovers, who obviously were sort of a big non-league club, and sort of fell back and came back as Gresley FC, and speaking to their as non-league works, mate, speaking to Gary Norton after the game. He said he wanted to sign me, and we had conversations, and yeah, I went there and loved it.
Yeah.
And in my sort of year and a half there, we won the league, won the Midland League,
Nice.
at ease really, and yeah, it was good. Probably what I probably should have done earlier. Took it a bit more serious, and played for a decent club, and well supported club, and like anyone, it doesn't matter what level. It's always nice to win a league, and yeah, there was the moat ground. I'm not sure if you've ever been, but it's quite worn now, but it's sacred to those fans, and it was rocking. Had over 1,000 people in there when we won the league, and
Nice.
yeah, I think in sort of in honesty, we had the best players. I'm sure we had the most money, even though nowadays you look at what people get paid to what we was getting paid, it was nowhere near. But yeah, good times, good manager. He's their chairman now, and
Nice.
yeah, my midfield partner was my assistant manager at Basford. So yeah, it was a good time, and like I say, it's always nice to get promoted.
Yeah, nice. Nice. It was there. So after that promotion, then was you still with them next season?
Yeah, so we went up to the Evo Stick, and we played. We were sort of running on momentum, really. I think uh, the gaffer Gary Norton, he kind of didn't really strengthen the squad because we had a really good team. So I think it was probably the right thing to do, to keep. But so we had a really good start, and we played against Kings Lynn away, and we got there. Me and my dad travelled together, and we didn't think it was going to be on because of the fog, and we played the game, and we drew 2-2, was winning 2-0. Big
Yeah.
crowd, obviously a big club, Kings Lynn, and had a really good game. and they tried to sign me after the game almost in the bar and as it goes, um, obviously non-contract, and yeah, that was I think that was the October, and I declined the offer, and stupidly really, because sort of a week after I'd pulled my groin really bad,
Yeah.
and a little bit like the Australia thing, when you're sort of judging, you see them flying in the league, and you're sort of judging when things aren't going so right. You're always thinking, yeah, I should have gone, and yeah, what turned out, in a nutshell, the end of that season, I had an hernia, which sort of ruptured, and I had an operation. But in the January, we played Kings Lynn at home, and if I'm honest, the injury, I'd played through it.
Yeah.
Painkillers, and I just got through it, because I felt like the team needed me, and looking back, I wanted my best. And before the Kings Lynn game, the manager pulled me to say, like, we're putting you in the side because they came in for you, and I should have been dropped really, because I'm left-footed, and it was in my left sort of abductor groin area, and I played really well. Don't know how. Probably adrenaline again. You want to impress them, and again they came in for us again, and I signed for him, and yeah, so it's probably a big disappointment for me, because I signed injured, and I won the league at Kings Lynn, and yeah, I contributed, but they didn't see the best of me, and yeah, it was sort of the end of that season was sort of a bit sweet that I got to move to like a big club like that, after probably getting a standing ovation from their fans, and you read the good and the bad comments, I suppose, but they were saying to sign me, and it didn't sort of work out. I'd liked it, but their assistant manager Neil, who I still speak to this day, and the teammates were fantastic, and I think I did contribute a small part, but yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment, really.
Yeah. Were they aware, obviously, when you signed? They must have been aware you were injured.
To be honest, I hit it. Hit it quite well, yeah, and it was one of those where if I woke up in the morning and I sort of didn't feel it, I knew it was going to be all right. I could get through training, but I woke up and just felt like just seized up, like that. My whole sort of left sort of thigh and sort of groin area were just, and I'm left-footed, and it's like the sort of player I am. I take set pieces. I like to sort of do short and long passes, and I was using my right foot, and they're like, we've probably thinking, where is he? You know what I mean? But yeah, so I sort of hit it. Looking back, I should have just probably had it done, but that's probably my downfall, because I love football so much. It felt like I was sort of missing out, and but yeah, won the league there, and it's a difficult one, mate, isn't it? Because when you don't really feel part of it, like you've not contributed as much as you can, and it was only like sort of 4 or 5 months I was there, but it was sort of operation time in the summer, and yeah, sort of built myself up from sort of playing lower league, Australia, Putnell, Gresley, got the move to Kings Lynn, and I felt like I was in a similar situation to where I was before. So had the operation done. Gresley took me back, and any injury, like I said about Australia, I wasn't sort of pre-season. The manager said, "You sure you're okay? You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And I was okay. I felt great, but took me till about September to really start feeling like sharp, and like I could like really. I was never fast, by the way. I was like, but I could actually move. And then we played Kettering away in the FA Cup, and I don't know. It sounds a bit cringy, but I just woke up that day and it felt really good. And I think the bigger games I've always been really up for, and obviously they're well supported. And we played against them. I was captain that day, and we beat them 2-0.
Yeah.
And that's how that move sort of went about, really.
What was that? A similar thing after the game, Kettering, wasn't you?
Yeah, I mean, all my moves until I was probably late on were all playing against teams that you play well and they want to sign you. That's
Yeah.
probably what I took as a manager. If I didn't really like to swap and change. If we played against a team who they had a good player, we'd go in for him to improve us, and it's kind of what I did, and I felt good. Spoke to sort of Tom Bailey. I'm sure you know from sort of your area, and met him in Sainsbury's in Wellingborough for a chat, and we discussed it. The manager was Dean Thomas. He didn't really get involved in sort of negotiations really, and signed, and sort of the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've done a bit of research there. Obviously, you're a big fan favourite there at Kettering, weren't you? What was that, just on performances solely, or?
Well, I think when I signed, they were having a bad spell. Richie saved the club, and they were in step 4. They were struggling in the league. They're my favourite manager in Dean, but restrictions and of budgets and stuff and doing things right, and Richie obviously love him to bits, and he signed me. He signed. I wouldn't say I was the factor that we went on a run, but we signed Tommy Hull and a few others, Elliot Sandy, and my first game. Bit nervous to be honest, and I had the long hair and beard. I think sort of fans love that. Call me Jesus, and got man of the match, and sort of wanted a taste of that every week, and just tried to give my best, and we went on not sure the stats, but I mean it was over 15 game run, unbeaten run, and if I'd have gone there and it won't go so well, I'm sure I won't be invited back or spoke about, but it was just right time, right club. They needed a lift. I was sort of committed. I think any club, I had a point to prove. I think when you probably get a bit older, you probably coasting a bit, or but I wanted to kick on. I wanted everyone to sort of realise there was a good point to prove.
Yeah, nice. You just backtracking slightly there. You said about Dean Thomas, the gaffer. He was you mentioned he was your favourite manager. Why was he so good?
He used to join in training, and he was very good. He had left foot, and I'm left-footed. Notts County, so I used to watch him.
Yeah.
So I knew all about him, and he obviously wanted to sign me in, but he was just it's different now, mate, because you can't sort of go in on people. You have to do it the right way. But he was just so honest, and he'd dig sort of the bigger players out in the squad when they needed to be, sort of younger players, and would think, okay, well, if he ain't doing it, then he'll be left out. And he just ran it on a case of like, if you don't perform, like you don't play. And if you're out injured, you've got to wait your turn to get back in. And he, it was good fun. He had the balance, like one instance, midweek game at Latimer Park, we were losing 1-0 at half time, and I played just in front of the back four. I didn't have the best of games, and before he went in on me, I apologised, started taking the boots off, and kind of sort of knew how to handle him then. And after the game, he talked to you like, he's forgotten sort of thing. And yeah, I think it's you need your players as well to buy into that. Used to hammer me, but in the right way. He made me a better player. He made me fitter. When I signed, he said I needed to lose a stone. I thought I was quite fit, and I did. And I was playing, with Andy Goodin, who was a professional at Coventry, and he made me better as well. And yeah, it just fitted. The players we were bringing in made us better. But going back to the point, he was a good man, just a really good man, down to earth. You can't go back at him, which you can nowadays with managers, to say you don't know what you're talking about. You're not played. Like, he's been there and done it, but he backed it up. And yeah, it was a good time. It was good fun as well.
No, good. You mentioned Elliot Sandy there. Obviously, he's just won the league with Spalding there. How did you find him as a player?
I thought he was brilliant. Very versatile. I liked him as a number 9. He's he was good for the dressing room because he was quite vocal in driving standards, and like, obviously he's a good laugh, but you can tell from as he was as a player and in the dressing room why he's gone on to win the league there, because he demands off you. And yeah, it was a really good player. He's got some good goals, really. He played in midfield, but like I say, he's good number 9. Held it well. He's quite cute in terms of his time and his runs. Always scored important goals. He wasn't. I wouldn't say one of his super strengths was being brave in the air, but he was very good at timing his runs in the air and sort of jumping and taking it on his chest and getting across defenders. And yeah, I think, sure Kettering paid a lot of money for his services, but he was definitely worth it. And but yeah, again, forget the football, is a really good lad, and yeah, someone I speak to quite a lot still.
No, good, nice. So obviously you won the league 2015 with Kettering, didn't you?
Yeah, well, with Dean that year, we lost the playoff final, so we went on that amazing run, and we got to the playoff final at home, Latimer Park. It was about, I don't know, they say 2.5, something like that, but you couldn't move. And Connett winning 2-0 at half. I kicked someone stood after about 15 minutes and blood in my foot, in my boot, should I say, and carried on. And yeah, the second half was like a bad dream. I think nowadays you can watch VOs on every game.
Yeah.
But that sort of era, there wasn't VOs. There was just highlights, and I've still not watched that game now. Losing 3-2 at home. They had about 100 fans. We had about 3,000 fans. It was just like, it was just a bad day, or bad 45 minutes that, sort of finished the squad, really. The squad sort of broke up. Dean left.
Yeah.
Tom, who was assistant, took the manager's job with the coach, Scott Machin.
Yeah.
And they brought Brett Solcombe back, who's a brilliant player. Sort of went back there pre-season, and takes me a while to get going pre-season. I think I just didn't feel it. They brought in quite a few players. I sort of moved to Leicester a year or so previous to that, and Was quite friendly with Nathan Fox, who was at rugby at the time, and sort of went pre-season at rugby, and didn't really feel that I was going to play at Kettering, and sort of went to rugby, and they had a really good team, fittest I've ever been, and I signed for rugby. Don't know why, mate, to be honest.
It's Rugby Town, sorry, is this?
Yeah, Rugby Town. Yeah, it is a regret, but Kettering started off beating people 4 and 5 nils, and we had a decent start, and they started sort of dropping a little bit. Kettering getting draws and a few defeats, and Scott asked me to come back, and just jumped at the chance, to be honest, and that was when we went on another unbelievable run and won the league by ease, really.
Yeah. Was it the same? Was it a similar sort of squad to when you left? Or have many players come and gone?
There's a few changes. I think Doobie was still there as top striker. Elliot had gone as well. I think Dunstable made him a really good offer, and he went. But yeah, there was obviously, Brett, from being where you live, makes a big difference to us. Jason Lee signed from Kings Lynn. It was a brilliant centre half, and it was the core was still there, but they'd added players. There's always around sort of successful sides. There's always sort of fringe players that are there for a bit of the season, go out on loan, and so there's those types of players. But yeah, it was still relatively the same squad, really. And maybe looking back, I think I'd like Dean to have sort of stayed in. I don't know whose decision it was, but I think with the squad we had, I think we would have won it easy. But they made the right decision, whoever made it, and that season was very successful.
Oh, nice. Was it? I mean, any big celebrations there? I assume there was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think we won it with about 5 games to go, mate. So it was. Whilst you don't want to, if they'd have said five games to go, you'd won the league, you'd take it, obviously. But that we sort of saw games out. We were still winning it easy. I don't think we trained that much. But yeah, got a job to do. But yeah, it was a really good season. In terms of me, when I went back to the club, I wasn't guaranteed to start. My first game was against Bedford, and I started. We won 4-0, playing well. Felt like I'd never been away, and I got a whack on the ankle, and I was out for 5 weeks. So sort of missed 5 weeks again, fitness, and I had to wait my turn because the midfielders at the time were doing really well. When I got back in, sort of November time, I played all the way to the end, and felt like I was obviously from the Kings Lynn period where I felt like a bit part. I thought I was instrumental in helping us win the league. So
Nice.
that was my sort of fond memory that season for sure.
Oh, good. Was it like bit of a relief, obviously having a season like that where you're a bit part and then going back into a club and playing that major role in a title winning side?
Yeah, I mean they say never go back. I mean, but I did. It's I've played for some really good clubs, but I love Kettering. You just feel a connection there. I would say that it's my club in terms of it's probably the result I look for. It's a job that I was linked with sort of November, December time, and now a good mate of mine and former managers, the manager, so it even strengthens my affection for the club. So yeah, it was a really good time, and it's probably like I say, until you're in and you see the people like Malk and Aaron and Dan, what they do, voluntary, and obviously Cookie and the media guys,
Yeah,
they love that club, and I do too. So yeah, it's
very good.
hmm.
Do you get back there often?
I did the radio and the interviews quite a few times, but you don't want to be that guy. Oh, he's back, and hey,
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
he's sort of, when I get invited, I try and get back, and since I've been out of it, um, obviously, like I say, I've been linked with a job last season, and my mate's in charge now, so I don't want to be a bad smell, and not rumours because I mean, labs are tight, but yeah, I'll get back, but like I say, there's football guys who are out of a job and they're at every game, and they're trying to weave their way in, but yeah, we'll, I'll probably get back sometime soon to support Labs and the boys for sure.
Fair play. Good man. What do you think the problem is there? Obviously, relegation last season. Thankfully, they've survived this season now. But what do you think the major issues are at Kettering at the moment?
Um, Probably from the outside in. I think players who've signed there, we don't care about the club.
Yeah,
I think non-league is. I think it's changing slightly because the games have gone a bit younger, where they want a platform to probably get higher, and I think people just see it as a club to earn money, to play at a standard. Um, but I think it's changed its manager quite a few times. You've got supporters that expect more and deserve more. Um, but I mean, Richie has done wonders for that club. Without Richie, he probably won't still be going.
no,
So I think the players have got to take a lot of stick for that. But like I say, they've had a lot of managers, but Paul Cox did really well for them with John Ramshaw, who's my assistant at Hinckley, and I thought I could see them sort of kicking on because they just missed out on the playoffs, and and obviously maybe a bad appointment or two, but I think they're in the right league for where they're at the minute.
yeah,
It's a league where Labs will certainly attract players. He was a fantastic player. He's a good bloke, and he knows a lot of players. And I think the impact he's made since he's been in there suggests that, no disrespect to the players that are in there, but they're bar one or two he's brought in, they're not really his players. So, and he's made a massive difference. I think next season I'm very hopeful and positive that Kettering will be pushing for promotion. But again, I'm sure fans have been frustrated over the years, but you know, there's a lot. Kettering is the biggest club at that level for sure, in my eyes. But in terms of finances now, it's just gone silly, mate. To be honest.
yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of common sense and understanding sort of what non-league's about now.
No, good. Um, yeah, like you say, it's a good club. We've always liked it when we've been back there. But when you did leave that second time, am I right saying it was Corby Town?
So went to Diamonds.
Was that before Corby? Was it? Sorry.
Yeah. So after that, sort of went to Diamonds and played for Peaksy.
Yeah.
To be honest, I still speak to him today. Probably a Kettering player in a diamond shirt. So um, I think there's a lot of competition for midfielders at that time. Bunce, Quiggs, Brad Harris. and yeah, they're on the momentum of sort of the success, and they're all good players, but like they would probably say if they're speaking to you now, I went there to play, and my first game we played at Rushden away, and I was on the bench and didn't come on, and obviously I told Peaksy that I'm not coming here to sit on the bench, and played played after that, did well, but seemed to be sort of substituted on sort of 70 minutes, something like that, and obviously mellowed out now, but didn't sort of work for me and sit well for me, and yeah, so just found myself on the bench, and when you feel that you can add to the team and the team is struggling, I wasn't prepared to sort of put myself through it. So, but Peaksy, amazing bloke, done a really good job at Diamonds, and obviously an unbelievable job at Tamworth, and not speaking from a Kettering sort of hat or Kettering heart, but some of the rubbish that the Diamonds fans used to say to him was, I think they've got the receipt now, because he's gone on to win the Conference North. And they found themselves relegated, and they're sort of shouting for an appeal now and about or a reprieve. Sorry, but yeah, I'm really chuffed for him because he's a good bloke. Yeah.
He's done really well. You just mentioned there, obviously, the Diamonds playing as a Kettering player. Were the Diamonds fans aware of that when you joined? Were they aware of your connection with Kettering?
Yeah, I think so. I was on Twitter quite heavily then. I think it's a platform to be, and like I say, made no bones about it. I love Kettering, still do. And Elliot Sandy signed the same time as me, and we'd won that league the previous year, and his spell didn't go down probably too well because he celebrating a goal. One of the lads jumped on him and broke his nose, and he was out for a number of weeks. And but yeah, to be honest with you, it's I gave my all for the club when I played. I was probably a bit outspoken. And I wasn't prepared to sort of sit on the bench. But Diamonds fans, it's completely different, mate, to Kettering fans. I've played for Kettering when we've been losing, and still behind the team. Maybe because we was sort of going for promotion to get us over the line, but I find them pretty negative, to be honest, at times. But maybe that's because I didn't have the best of spell there. But fair play to them. They still go out in the numbers. But to answer your question, probably they probably saw me in a red and black playing for them rather than a white and blue. So yeah.
No, fair enough. So how long were you at Diamonds for? Was it just the one season?
So it's probably about 4 months, to be honest. And then sort of after that, I was offered the rugby job as player manager there, and I sort of thought, I've got 34 now, and I see the game a little bit different to our the previous managers that I've played under. I thought, give it a go, and very naive, going into step 4, and probably got the job because I played at that level for a number of years, and signed a good squad, but out my depth, to be honest, and it ended quite quickly. It ended after about 3 months. I think I'll hold my hands up to that, but it was my first sort of taste of sort of interference with owners and sort of the board wanting to have a real influence, which still happens to this day. So, but yeah, that was 3 months, excuse me. And then sort of had a bit of time out and signed for Worksop. Sort of got myself really fit. Sorry.
That was just as a player, was it?
Yeah, as a player.
Yeah.
Ryan Hindley, the manager, fantastic player. Played at Forest, Wednesday, Halifax, growing up, and played against him sort of non-league. Belper is a legend at Ilkeston, and needed a midfielder. Asked me if I fancied it. With their fan base and the fans base clubs that I played for, thought give it a go, and yeah, loved it. I loved playing under him. It's a little bit like Dean, to be honest. Very passionate, very honest, and sort of I was there majority of that season until so I've got new owners as football goes, and he was sort of squeezed out. So I sort of went with him and found myself at Hinckley with Labs, the manager at Kettering now.
Yeah, nice. Was that Hinckley as a player again? Was it?
Yeah, I went as a player. Like I say, I probably shouldn't have took the rugby job too early because I could still perform, and yeah, love playing for Labs. He was still playing at the time. The best header of ball I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like tough. He was a tough tackling midfielder, organizer, leader, and obviously I think he was 40, 41 at the time, played centre half, and yeah, he was fit as a fiddle. Played for him for the rest of that season, and he decided to leave, and Hinckley offered me the player manager's job.
Yeah, nice. Was there a doubt in your mind after what happened at rugby, or was it just a no-brainer? Just take it.
I took it, mate, because I still wanted to play, and it was a lesser level, so it was step 6. So it's 2 levels below. They had a decent fan base, and yeah, it seemed right. Assurances was right that they'd, give me the support and give me the budget I required, and yeah, how wrong was I again? It was a fan-based club, a fan-owned club, and
Right. Okay.
every decision was a vote.
Yeah.
The old manager was trying to get back in, and every bad result, one of the board members was quite close to me and was telling me everything.
Right.
And they thought that I was in the dark, but every time the old manager was texting him and trying to get back in, I was being made aware of it, and with the what we had to work with at the level we was working at, coming sort of top 4, introducing young players into the squad, was doing that, but yeah, it's politics that, like I said before, I love football, but the other side to it just like repulses me with how much interference and how people get involved for getting involved sake, and
Yeah.
just didn't need it, mate, to be honest, and so I resigned.
Fair enough. You left on your terms, so it's not like you got forced out. So that's
No,
a
no, I mean, I've never been sacked yet,
no.
but I had some time out, and again, Eastwood, which was Eastwood Town before, um, in a nutshell with those, I had a 4G pitch. I like to get the ball down. I had an academy, some good players. I had a below £500 a week budget, and through the COVID years, it was tough, but promoted through step 6 in a tough league and played some good football. Really enjoyed it, but it gets to the point where I live in Leicester, so it's Nottingham. It's 40 minutes, doing it for nothing, because I'm putting my money in to get better players, and it's just a balance really. That do I want to be competing at step 5 to get slapped every week? I'm used to winning things. I'm used to being successful teams, so yeah, it ran its course, and the Eastwood there they're new owned now, and they've got a couple of managers there who I used to play with and against. Daz Thomas and Martin Ball, and they're 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 going places. So yeah, good.
No, fair enough. Well, sorry, just going back slightly. When you left Hinckley, was it what was on your mind there? Was it I want to play again, or was it going to look for another manager's job now?
Um, t Nothing really. Like I say, I've not never been one of those to graft for jobs or turn up at games and try and sort of get back in. And it was just I was playing a bit of vets football. Still thought I could do a job, but it's difficult, isn't it, when you want to play but you've been a manager and managers don't want to sign you because they think you want their job, and
Yeah,
it's difficult. So sort of bit of step back really, and then my old workshop manager Ryan took the Retford job, um, and I went in there as sort of player assistant, player sort of loosely really, because I trained, I was on the bench, I came on the odd time, but yeah, loved it. Sleeping Giant, and Ryan as a manager. I think his win record is over 70%
I know.
since he's been at the club, and he's not had a sniff at any. Not that Retford, if you're listening, not that I want him to leave, but he's probably one that probably deserves a chance. But yeah, went there, loved it, and I'd still be there, but got the opportunity to go to Ilkeston,
Yeah,
with Jamie Ward, and you know, working with Wardy and a club like Ilkeston for an owner who I know as well. Yeah, was too good to turn down.
was so I read somewhere Lee Tomlin was a gaffer there. Is that right?
No, Lee's a mate of mine, and he came in as a player coach,
Oh,
and
right, okay.
yeah, what happened? Well, I went into the club as a coach, and then Ben Turner um, got a role in the pro game, so I sort of stepped up to number two, and Lee was the coach, and yeah, he should be still playing now, mate.
Is that good?
Yeah, he's coaching at Leicester City now,
Yeah.
in the 18s, and he loves it.
Is he?
But yeah, he was yeah, brilliant player. But more importantly, he's a brilliant lad, and hilarious without being a clown. He's just a good guy, and but like I say, a magician on the pitch for sure.
Yeah, no, good, good. And how was your time there at Ilkeston? How did you get
Yeah,
on?
loved it, mate. Loved it. Working with Wardy, he was top player, top bloke, and top manager. Um, we had a really good end to the season. Signed Leroy Leiter, who was instrumental in scoring the goals, and again another good bloke. Um, Helped the younger lads in the team, and yeah, we had a good team. Wardy had it perfect with sort of fun side and the professional side, and yeah, we just missed out on the playoffs, and the club made changes. Uh, um, Jamie left, and I did too. Um, and then they got a manager in who was my manager at Kettering Town when I first started my career. And the owner asked me to help him, and it's one of them, mate, isn't it? Like, oh, you're staying around when I'm Wardy's guy, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
the owner is a brilliant bloke, Andrew Nully, and yeah, I stayed, and didn't quite work out for the new manager.
No.
Had a really good start, and yeah, he left, and or he was sacked, and then there's a Nottingham-based manager called Ian Deakin who managed locally, and then he went to Long Eaton and did an unbelievable job there, got them promoted, and assistant manager at Ilkeston before, and there's a lot of fans shouting for him for the job, and to be honest, mate, he deserved it. And um, I said to the owner that I'd leave because I don't think he wanted to sack me, but obviously he wanted, to bring Deeks in, and rightly so.
Yeah.
And so I left there and found myself out of work for a couple of weeks, and then got offered the Basford job.
Yeah. So, I mean, how did that come about?
So I've known the owner for a long time. He used to play in the reserves at the club that my dad used to manage. He used to play in the same sides on a Sunday, I think, as my dad when they needed a goalkeeper. And he's obviously done a good job at Basford. And he asked me if I was interested. We had a chat, and I took the job with Holmesy, like I said before, my midfield partner at Gresley, who's got his A license, and we had was going into a tough job, and but something that we were looking forward to. We thought we could make a change. We went to watch him once, and that was that really.
Yeah. So how long was you at Basford there?
So September until March. So I was on sort of garden leave until the end of the season. It's just finished. But yeah, it was when I first went in. A lot of players on contract. They had 2 players from the first, I think, 6, 7, 8 games, something like that. So 2 points, didn't win. And yeah, it's a difficult one, mate, because as a new manager, you want to bring your own players in.
Yeah.
But you've got quite a lot of players that you can't move out, so you've got to sort of play with the cards you've been dealt. Try and get the best out of everything. So to the players that won't be managing people out or freezing people out, but there will be changes. But I got the balance right. I made sure that the players that weren't in the plans were still respected, and were giving off positive sort of vibes in the dressing room. But it was tough, mate. It was tough to sort of balance all that and get results on the pitch, bring new players in, but we got them. We got them, and I think for my time there, I'd like to say that I did a good job. When I left, there was I think 6 points clear of the relegation zone, and it was disappointing. I'm disappointed how it ended, or how it ended up from how it started.
Yeah.
It's a club that my dad used to play for and manage, and captain. So it was a bit of a legacy there, and I think it ended with me sort of with a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. So, can I ask you about how it ended? You see, you got put on gardening leave there. What was that in aid of? How did that come about?
Yeah, so as a manager of a football club, you have to manage the team and manage and 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 manage the environment. And when I first started, I signed players that probably on there wouldn't be there was a few eyebrows raised when I signed them, but we needed good characters. We needed players that were quite experienced,
Yeah.
prepared to fight, because this club had not won. And to sort of manage the dressing room, and that's what I did. And we got a sort of, how can I put it? We got a name for ourselves by being hard to beat, by being aggressive, by being good in both boxes, and things were going well. My objective was to keep the club in the league. We went to Macclesfield away with nearly 4,000 there and got a good point. Should have won. We were beating the likes of Lancaster, Bradford Park Avenue at home. We were drawn with FC United. We were playing, with respect to the players, we were playing good football for, not because of how bad or good the players were, but they're hurt. They're down. They're on their knees.
Yeah.
They're in the relegation zone. But people were coming in. The lads were coming into training and prepared to fight. And it wasn't a case of ranting and raving where new managers come in and they say, right, it's a bit hostile and the manager don't want to talk. I made sure that it was a good environment. It was positive. It was dealt with honesty, and yeah, that soon changed when it's sometimes you just have to let things ride out, and I'd have kept that club up comfortably. But things are changing every week. I was at the club. We had two chairmen in my tenure at the club. We had over 40 players, and the off the field stuff, which I'd not signed up for, were sort of draining me, to be honest. And
Yeah.
my focus was the lads. I'm retired as a player, but I still know how a player thinks. I still know what sort of sessions that they want to come into, what environment, how they're giving feedback, how to set up a session, how to analyze who we're playing against, and I'm sort of in a club where I'm being told by certain people in the club what team to pick, what formations, but without sounding arrogant, I've played higher than them, I've managed higher than them, and I've not asked them for advice. I'll speak to them about football all day, but when you feel influenced, it has an effect because you find yourself like, am I doing the right thing? Am I trying to please him or her, or what am I doing? But my main focus was the players
Yeah.
and making sure that we as a dressing room, because when you're down there and you're losing, you got to take the flak, and when you win, you can't be too high because as a club fighting relegation, you're going to lose, and it's that middle bit that you need to get. And we was there, but we again constant changes, and it got to the point where I thought to myself, that club's had some good managers. Martin Crothers, who's manager there, was manager before. Mark Clifford, ex-professional, Mansfield, Boston. Steve Chettle, Forest legend, played over 450 times for them. And myself, I'm a non-league person, and I'm thinking, why haven't these guys, kicked on? And I just wanted to just be left to do the football side, and unfortunately, they wouldn't allow me to do that.
No. So I was looking at online and I found a bit of a statement that got put out in February. Basford United. It didn't say who it was from at the club, but it's following a defeat away to Gainsborough Trinity. James Jepson has tendered his resignation, which is subsequently accepted. Was that pretty much? Did you straight away they accepted that? Did they?
So I wanted to resign probably about 3 weeks ago, but
Yeah.
we played Ilkeston, and the week before I got a new contract.
Yeah.
So I had another year, because that if you're given a new contract, that suggests that you're doing a good job. And the academy manager, who was the assistant manager at Nuneaton, they just folded, and he was asked. I was asked to include him in first team, and he's a good coach. So his sessions are really good, but based on what we all know about football, you need your own people in there. And we played Ilkeston against Deeks, and we went to the same school, same area. His staff, we all know each other, and we want to beat each other. And yeah, it was just I felt it slipping away from me in terms of not the authority, because I still had the authority of the players, but in terms of making decisions. there was so many people involved that I felt like everyone had an opinion, and we all love football because it's about opinions, but it got too much, and like anyone, everyone has a breaking point, and you know, people have a mixed opinion of me, I'm sure, but the people that really know me know that I, I do rebel. I have a breaking point, and yeah, the relationship wasn't great. Wasn't really communicating how I should. But you've got fans having a go at players, and these players are grafting. They don't see the work they
Yeah.
put in, and it was in the end for me. And I think if you have a look at the last season, the club had 4 managers.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the reason they accepted it is because maybe they thought that someone could take him to mid, but the objective was to keep him in the league. And with all um, the recycling of players that have been there before and people that have been behind the scenes before coming back, and it's you're asking for a different result with the same resource, and yeah, I was fighting a losing battle. For me, if I'm the manager and I make decisions and the club get relegated, I'll walk. I'll take the sack. I know football. The level I'm managing at, I've played it. I get results based, but subjective based as well. And but if I'm not influence decisions as much as I should be, and I'm justifying every single decision I make, then if that doesn't work, I still get the sack. So I found myself in a situation where it's a lose-lose. I couldn't, I wasn't getting the the fulfillment and the fun I had with working with the players and making them better and getting us up the table that I felt was we was just stagnating in terms of we won the league, we're staying up, we're going to be mid-table, we lose, we need to make changes. And it was constantly managing that sort of behaviors. And I think what people don't realize is these guys that play, they've got families. You sign
Yeah.
someone, everyone, myself included, you live to a certain what you can afford, and you've got to let these people go. And that's a side that when you're signing players and 2 weeks later you've got to let them go, that don't sit well with me.
No. No. Um, so I believe Danny Holmes and Andrew, I'm going to give his last name a go. Danilison was your assistant, Sarah, at the time. They got offered the role.
Yeah, so Holmesy, I brought him in,
Yeah.
and he stayed. We had a face-to-face conversation. He told me his reasons, and respect him, and no problem. Like I say, it could be really good there. The other guy you mentioned, he was the one who came in as a coach,
Right.
without me sort of agreeing that really, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so they got the job for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, and
Yeah.
yeah, they brought Martin back, who's a brilliant guy and brilliant manager, of course, but yeah, so they weren't given. In fairness to them, they weren't given the time, but at the end of the day, the club survived. Um, it was sort of my old man has watched every game of mine, bar 2 or 3, and he won the senior cup with Basford. So to keep the club up, which they were safe when I left, and they were in the not senior cup final, which they've not been in for 3 years.
Yeah.
I wanted to sort of win that trophy to sort of match what my dad had done, and yeah, I think it would have been a successful season, but unfortunately, that is non-league now, and it's like I say, it's a frying pan, and sometimes you know the outcome. And is it worth it? Yeah, of course it is. But you just want an opportunity to do, have your own strategy and sort of follow it through, really.
Yeah. Just while we're on base still, I just wanted to touch on the second half of that statement as well that the club put out.
Yep.
It said new management team will be provided with additional funding to enhance the squad for the running and give us the best fighting chance to stay up. My question on that is, was you offered that funding to help you out?
Um. Yeah. Yes and no. I think the players that I wanted to bring in, one of them signed for a club near where you live and scored 8 or 9 goals, um, and that was declined. And
Can you name
that
him?
no,
No.
I think it's quite obvious. They survived relegation,
Right.
and the players that were authorised to come in. I'm not saying they were bad players; they were good players, but I want to bring my own players in, and I just felt like again, it's like I'm not saying I get it; it's a business, but if I'm the manager and my players that I bring in don't do it, then I face the consequences. But um, again, there was a process of justification on bringing players in, and the loan signing we had from Leicester City, Jack Lewis, was actually obviously Lee works there, and Lee mentioned it to me, and unbelievable player.
Yeah.
But he left for a spell, and he came back, and but excuse me. To
That's
answer your
true.
question, thank you. To answer your question, you know, supported in terms of the players that I brought in, Ilkeston captain, Kieran Fenton, left back Henry Wilder, Geordie Allen, who unfortunately was injured for a bit of that, Mason Frizzell from a step below, Messiah McDonald, who did really well for us, but unfortunately had to get rid of him for again, probably it's not my decision, but that's what happened, and well, the players I brought in did really well, and again got us that sort of fighting spirit and momentum. But to answer your question, yes, funds was there, supportive in terms of budget, but did I really bring the players I wanted to bring in? No, I didn't.
No. No. So going forward then, what's next for you? Are you looking to get back into the game pretty sharpish or?
Not really, mate. To be honest, as you can see, my managerial career from Hinckley, Eastwood, sorry, Rugby, Hinckley, Eastwood, Ilkeston, Basford. Ilkeston loved it. Like I said, perfect working with someone like Jamie and the chairman there. Eastwood was great, but obviously COVID sort of killed that. If the opportunity's there, I'll take it. It doesn't have to probably be a number one. I'd take a number two at a decent club. But without sounding arrogant, I don't want to be applying for every job. Where I live now, there's 2 or 3 jobs that are available, but you know, football's changed, mate. And I think people know where I am if they
Yeah.
want to talk to me. But when the time I've given to football, um, and especially as a manager, and that it's left a bad taste in my mouth. So would I go back into it? Yeah, of course, love it. Just keep my eye on local results, but it's got to be right, mate. It's got to be um, in my interest in terms of do I want to go to a struggling side? No. Do I want to go to a side who are going for promotion? Yeah, of course. But mainly, I think Ryan at Retford, that's why, he's obviously staying there and he's doing really well there. You don't pick your clubs, you pick the people you work with. I think that's more important to me than sort of steps and
Yeah.
People don't talk about teams now; they just talk about steps. Oh, it's step 5 or step 6. It's non-league. It's it's irrelevant. It's just the people you work with is really important. So we'll see, mate. We'll see. Hopefully, watch England do well in the Euros
Yeah, it'll
and
be good.
get back into it. But yeah, who knows?
No, good man. Going back to Kettering there, just quickly. Sorry, you were linked with a job there. How close was that? Was there anything in that rumor?
Yeah, there was. It was concrete, but I was on contract, and at the time, there was a clause, a fee for them to buy me, which um, Kettering's a big club, but they don't want to be buying managers out of contracts.
Oh,
There's and it didn't happen, and I think it was I wasn't at Basford long, and of course I wanted to go, mate. You know what I mean? But you know, for the memories I've got there and the people I've met, and obviously Richie, uh, who I've got the utmost respect for. Do I want to tarnish that? Do I want to end up sort of? I don't know. You know what football's like. I've got good memories and the best memories. So going there would end up being the sack or moving clubs to a better club and so it's just didn't happen, mate. But
oh,
again, now I'm a bit older. It's probably the right reason because they've got a really good manager now, and yeah, I'm still a fan. Um, who knows? Maybe one day I'll work in some capacity at the club, but yeah, it just wasn't the right time.
fair play. Um, where did you play with, or where did you come across Dan Carter?
Yeah, so in between sort of Eastford and Retford, I played for Rugby Borough,
Right,
and
yeah,
yeah, played for him for about 3 or 4 months, and loved it. Brilliant bloke,
yeah,
United fan, um,
yeah.
and yeah, just to be honest, he's a manager in the same ilk as Ryan. Like they're really straightforward, honest talking, very structured, and but really sort of really make it easy for you to just go out there and play. And yeah, good guy. I mean, look, he won the league at ease with rugby. He's got a good network of players. I'm really surprised that he's not been linked to a higher role because I think he could really do well. He's got the authority, um, about him. When he speaks, people listen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed it, mate. I enjoyed it. He's like I say, even if you want a good football manager, is a good bloke. And
Mm.
I think players give more and to good people. And he's definitely that. But he is a good manager. And but yeah, it was a good little club that as well, Rugby Borough.
Yeah. No, I think he from speaking to him, enjoyed his time there. Like I say, he's back at Buckby now, so he's doing good things again. Still,
Yeah, yeah.
top guy. Um, maybe link up with him in the future again.
We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Yeah,
Bit too far, but we'll see.
yeah. So where are you based now? Leicester, you say?
Yeah, I live in Leicester. I've lived there for about 15 years now.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, 2 years. Well, nearly 2 years in Australia and sort of a year back in Nottingham. But yeah, this is where I'm based now.
Oh, good man. Um, appreciate your time tonight.
No, brilliant, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's good. Yeah, glad to finally get you on. Sorry for keeping you waiting. But no, I appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you in a role soon. Um, and yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see you again soon.
All right. Cheers, Jordan. Take care, mate.
Thanks for that. Cheers.
Thanks.